I just can't help but dance. Welcome, everybody, to Demo Days. I'm Steve Taylor, your host, and this is the show where we ask vendors the tough questions. So, Nick, welcome. Congratulations on joining the team over at Cork. What's Cork?
Thank you so much for having me here, Steve. Cork is a cyber warranty for MSPs that acts as a supplemental coverage to cyber insurance.
So we don't need cyber insurance anymore?
No, you absolutely still need cyber insurance. Cyber insurance is important. We love cyber insurance, but this unlocks a new revenue stream for MSPs, which could ultimately reduce the cost of cyber insurance for their customers.
Okay, so I'm going to have questions about that. All right, so let's talk big picture, because with cyber warranties, like when I think of a warranty, I think of a computer or a car where like some hardware failed and I need to get that replaced. So are you gonna like fix my internet when it goes down? What is a cyber warranty gonna do for me?
Yeah. So I'm glad that you brought up the car analogy, actually. So that's something that we hear very, very often. So in the auto industry, you have car insurance and you have a car warranty. Car insurance is protection if you have an accident in your car or if your car is stolen. But car insurance is very different than a car warranty. When I think
Mhm.
of a car warranty, I think of something that's helping to prevent or remediate an accident before it happens. And really, when I think of that car warranty, I think about the check engine light. You're driving in your vehicle and something is wrong in that vehicle where potential harm could occur in the future in the form of an accident. But the check engine light says, hey, you want to bring this vehicle in so we could fix it, fix whatever part or component is going wrong to ultimately reduce the likelihood of an accident happening in the first place. And typically,
Okay.
the car warranty is going to fix whatever that problem is and reduce out of pocket expenses to ultimately lower the likelihood of you ever needing to activate insurance. Where Cork comes into play is more in the cyber landscape. In the cyber landscape, you have cyber insurance, which is protection if you have an incident in your cyber landscape or if your data is stolen. And really, what Cork is trying to do is offer a cyber warranty. This cyber warranty is going to help prevent and remediate an incident before it happens, because in a lot of ways, Cork is like a check engine light for an MSP in their cybersecurity stack. So, for example, instead of a battery going bad or a flat tire or something going wrong with the engine, what Cork is doing is we're looking at all the components of an MSP's tech stack that they're selling the client. So, for example, if we see a user turning off MFA or a device that doesn't have patch management running or EDR getting uninstalled or backups aren't running, those are all warning signals to us. And to have proper cybersecurity posture, we're going to proactively alert you to those types of alerts that will ultimately make your clients more secure, as well as hopefully lower the cost of their cyber insurance provider. Now, if there is still a cyber attack that occurs, we are able to provide financial compensation in the form of a warranty that will act as supplemental coverage to the client's existing cyber insurance policy. That way, ultimately, we're reducing the client's out-of-pocket expenses. That's the name of the game here. Is we want to alert a client to an attack before it happens, and if an attack does indeed happen, we want to provide them financial assistance when they need it in real time.
Okay. So how are you getting that information? Are you integrating with our tools, or are you like an agent that gets installed on the end user's components?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So I know that with cyber insurance, typically the way coverage happens is the MSP or the end user has to fill out a security questionnaire form that can be quite lengthy. And things on the security questionnaire form could be things like, do you have MFA running? Is EDR installed? Is patch management running? Do you have backups? All these things, which are super important. With Cork, we don't have to do that because, to answer your question, Stephen, the way that we work is we actually tie into the security stack that the MSP is selling and managing for the client. So, because of this, I don't have to send out a questionnaire. I don't have to ask the client, do you have MFA turned on? Is EDR running? Because I'm going to see Duo checking in for MFA, or your Sentinel-1 or your Huntress checking in. Basically, all the cybersecurity tools in the MSP's tech stack, we're going to have full visibility into without the need of installing a piece of hardware, without the need of installing an agent. Everything is going to be done through an API. So as long as we have access to the API, we're tying into everything, whether it's RMM, EDR, backup, MFA, email security, security awareness training. The list goes on and on and on.
All right. So if you're tying into our tools, um, you're a small company. In fact, you're still in startup mode, I suspect. I don't think. Have you guys gotten a round of funding yet? I don't know. Is that stuff that you guys talk about?
Yeah, so we are privately funded by some
Okay.
venture capitalist firms. One of our investors and co-founders is Austin McCord, the same guy who founded Datto. So we're private. We're private right now. Not Series A, not yet, but we are growing and we're growing fast.
Okay. So with that said, you can't possibly already be integrated into all the tools. So like maybe my MSP is using Sentinel One, but that guy's MSP is using I don't know, Bitdefender, and then that guy's MSP is using Microsoft uh,
Yeah,
Defender, and
yeah,
like so how do you integrate with all of these different tools to make sure that all of these different MSPs are protecting their clients correctly?
100%, 100%. So I'll actually pull up a slide right here that goes over our monitoring platform. There we go. So with us, again, we're constantly adding API integrations on a daily basis at this rate. I know that last quarter alone we established 6 new integrations. So even though you might see a lot of logos on the screen, there's more and there's always going to be more. But what we did was we looked at the market based on our knowledge from Datto, and again, we want to integrate with all the major players. So from an EDR standpoint, there's a lot of popular ones there. We got your Bitdefender, your Microsoft Defender, your Datto EDR, your Sentinel One, your Huntress, your Sophos, ESET, Heimdall, Webroot, Signet, and again, more are going to be coming. RMM, it's the same thing. We integrate with Kaseya, Datto, ConnectWise. About 2 weeks ago, we just established an integration with Atera. So again, this list is going to be constantly growing. The next one on our list is ThreatLocker from an EDR standpoint. That one's coming out. That will be out before the end of this month.
Okay. So this is you're a startup, but I'm impressed with the number of companies you're already integrated with. Congratulations.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to put my CEO hat on. What is Cork's vision for the future of cyber risk management, and how do you plan to evolve your product to meet the changing needs of MSPs and their clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. So ultimately, we're all about giving visibility to clients to protect their clients left of boom, before that attack happens. Like I mentioned earlier, we're trying to be that check engine light. So that's why we're going out of our way to proactively alert you saying, hey, MFA got turned off, EDR is not there. You want to fix these things before the attack happens. And that's how Cork is able to give a guarantee that, hey, we're going to pay you out in this environment. Whereas typically with cyber insurance, they're a little bit blinded in that area. Yeah, you're filling out the insurance questionnaire, and that's super important. But in a lot of ways, you're sort of crossing your fingers, hoping they're actually going to pay that out. And we see time and time again, there's been more cases where insurance brokers, like Travelers, for example, they're trying to get out of paying out these insurance claims because of some gray area, right? Hey, you filled out the questionnaire saying MFA was turned on, but in reality, over here, there was a couple users where MFA was turned off or wasn't turned on fully. As a result, we're not paying out that claim, which is unfortunate for your insurance. With us, because we're channel friendly and partner first, we want to tell you that ahead of time. We're telling you, hey, we're not able to pay out this warranty because of XYZ. So please fix XYZ before that attack happens. So
Hmm.
that's I would say is our main takeaway is making sure that the small business always has that financial assistance available to them. And if for whatever reason there's a lapse of coverage where we would not be able to pay it out, let's communicate that before the attack ever happens.
And I like that because I mean, I was going to ask you, I've got this question. How can partnering with Cork help our MSP stand out in a crowded market and attract new clients? But I think it would be foolish for me to ask that because I think we've already established how and why, because the cyber warranty is going to supplement the cyber insurance that our clients should already have. And then if we should always prepare for worst case scenario as an MSP. We can't guarantee our clients will never get hacked or attacked or whatever. So we should prepare them for the worst, and we should get something like a cyber warranty through Cork in order to make sure that they get paid out quickly. So let's talk about payouts. I don't remember if we talked about it before we went live or after we went live, but the thing I like about Cork's payouts is they happen quick.
Yep. Yeah. So there's two types of warranties that we offer. We offer a $100,000 warranty. We offer a $500,000 warranty. One of the advantages of getting insurance is that you can get coverage in the millions and millions of dollars, whereas with our warranties, it's either the $100,000 or the $500,000 worth of coverage. With that in mind, though, one of the advantages that we do offer with the warranty and the fact that we get all the data and visibility from all those integrations in real time is we actually are able to give out instant fund access. So if an attack happens, you're getting a virtual debit card, in a matter of hours with thousands upon thousands of dollars to ultimately reduce the client's out-of-pocket expenses. Whereas with cyber insurance, those policies could be upwards of millions and millions of dollars, but you're not getting $1 million check today or tomorrow. It could be several weeks or several months from now.
Mhm. So let's say Steve Taylor, the individual, wants to get a cyber warranty. Is that something you guys will do?
So we sell our warranties through managed service providers. So as long as you're a client of that managed service provider, absolutely.
Okay. So I go through. I've got my own MSP, Taylor IT Group. Can I sell myself a cyber warranty?
Absolutely. Yep. You could sell yourself a warranty to protect yourself internally. That's no problem.
And then should I mark it up and make money off myself?
I mean, if only it was that easy.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about the payout because 10,000-foot overview, 100,000 or 500,000 sound great, but when I think about my car's warranty, if the radio stops working, you're not going to replace the whole car.
Mhm.
And you're not going to replace the engine when the radio stops working. So is this a up to 100,000 or is it you just give us 100,000 if we have a claim?
No, it's up to 100,000 or up to $500,000. That's
Okay.
the way we do it. What a lot of this coverage actually goes to is paying off a client's existing cyber insurance deductible. Because with our warranty, let me actually pull up a slide there. With our warranty, there's no deductible to utilize our service. Whereas typically with most cyber insurance, they do have retention or another word for a deductible that you would have to meet. So say a client has a $2 million policy, which they should because insurance is super important. Odds are in order to activate that policy, they might need to meet like a $10,000 or $20,000 deductible. Luckily, if you're using Cork in our warranty, we would be the ones paying off that client's cyber insurance deductible to, again, reduce the client's out-of-pocket expenses. Additionally, with our warranty, we're typically covering types of attacks that are not usually covered by cyber insurance. Attacks like phishing attacks, gift card scams, as well as wire transfer fraud payments. Those are things that are going to be covered by both of our warranties, whereas typically in most examples of cyber insurance, we don't see that being covered.
Wow. Okay. So that's really cool. So the fact now, obviously, you've got to prove that it wasn't just complete negligence. You got to prove that somebody got scammed out of this money. Okay.
Yep.
But the fact that you guys are going to offer like, oh hey, Steve was dumb and got a text message from Kevin from Channel Program and went and bought him $1,000 in Apple gift cards. So it sounds like we could utilize our warranty and get that $1,000 back.
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's really cool. So what's the downside? There's got to be a downside.
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the downsides of a warranty is the fact that we have coverage limits, right? So it's either $100,000 or $500,000. So when someone comes to me and says, "Does a warranty absolutely replace insurance?" The answer is no. If you're an organization that has, 75, 100 employees, right, and you're doing, hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue, or even millions of dollars in revenue each year, then you're really going to need a proper cyber insurance policy that covers you well beyond the $500,000 that Cork is going to be able to offer you. If you're a teeny tiny small business, maybe one or two employees, then yeah, in theory, our warranty might be able to act as standalone alternative coverage to insurance, but that's typically not the case. Nearly in all of the sales that I've done here at Cork, it's always sold as a supplemental coverage to an existing cyber insurance policy. And in a lot of ways, if you sell Cork, we've also seen it happen numerous times where customers that get Cork often end up seeing their insurance prices go down. One of the use cases I'll actually bring up here real quick is from one of our MSPs, Chris Bond of Innovative Technology Solutions. He had a customer that already had a $2 million cyber insurance policy, which is great. We love to see that. But what he did was he had his client increase the deductible on that policy from $5,000 a month to around $25,000, not a month, $25,000 total for the deductible. So now, in order to use that cyber insurance policy, it's going to cost the customer more money. But because they raised their deductible, it also ended up saving them about $3,000 a year on their insurance premium that they paid their insurance provider. The customer then ended up buying the Cork warranty as supplemental gap coverage through their MSP because now it's Cork is going to be the one that's paying off that $25,000 deductible. So in this example, everybody won. The MSP was able to make some money here, and the customer was able to get more coverage for less money in the long run because they saved money on their insurance. They still have cyber insurance. They no longer have to pay the deductible on the cyber insurance because Cork is going to be paying it. And Cork also gives them the other advantages like the monitoring, the instant access to funds, coverage for wire transfer losses, phishing and gift card scams, etc. So that's a great use case where really everybody won.
All right, so let's play devil's advocate here. So Cork is monitoring, and let's say, does Cork talk to the cyber insurance company? So let's say Cork determines, you know what, we're not going to pay this out because XYZ reason. So we filed a claim with Cork, we filed a claim with our cyber insurance. Are you guys going to tell cyber insurance that you're not going to pay out, and here's why?
We haven't run into that scenario. I mean, look, it's possible, right? Like, in order to qualify for a Cork warranty, you need to have RMM running, you need to have EDR running, you need to have MFA installed for your email, like Office 365 Authenticator as an example. And then if your clients have on-prem servers, they need to be backed up somehow. Now, we're vendor agnostic. We don't care if it's Datto Backup or Veeam. We don't care if it's SentinelOne or Huntress for EDR or if it's ConnectWise or Kaseya for RMM. We're vendor agnostic for your tools. That being said, if there is a potential threat that would deny a claim from being paid out, we're alerting our MSPs to that proactively. We're saying, hey, we're not going to be able to pay you out because someone turned off MFA over here, someone uninstalled EDR over there. And from that point, you have 72 hours to fix it. So if a hacker or a threat actor gets on your location at, Tuesday morning and starts turning off MFA and you discover the damage, at night, but the damage is already done and you got popped and breached, well, Cork is still going to cover that warranty because it only happened a few hours ago. But after 72 hours, if we're telling you, hey, turn on MFA, turn EDR, and the end user or the MSP doesn't do anything to remediate that situation, and a couple weeks or a couple months go by where the attack happens, then in those types of scenarios, no, we wouldn't be able to give coverage because, hey, we're telling you, hey, you need to fix this, you didn't, and in that sort of scenario, we wouldn't pay out the warranty. And I suppose at that point, that's when we would also communicate to the insurance broker saying, hey, your insurance, you pay out the way you want to pay out, but we didn't pay out because of XYZ.
Okay. And then I feel like this, so this seems great. Don't get me wrong. The fact that, okay, let's take our $5,000 insurance deductible, raise it to $25,000. Heck, let's raise it to $100,000. Who cares? We'll get the $500,000 Cork warranty, and we'll get that immediate payout, and then you'll take care of the insurance deductible for us, and all is good, right?
Yep.
But I worry, is this going to give us yet another single pane of glass for us to have to manage, where now we've got another thing yelling at us because XYZ needs corrected, when maybe we know it's best practice to do this, but in order for you to pay out, you want it done a different way?
Yeah, exactly. So you could attest to certain things to remove the false positives from our dashboard. So let's say, for example, we're yelling at you saying, "Hey, no backups are running on this machine over here, this server over here." Well, that's an archival server that nobody ever uses. That just happens to still be plugged in on the network. So we don't care if it gets breached or not. So like that, we could choose to exclude certain machines. That way, they don't get yelled at you. The alerts don't pop up. From an alert standpoint, we can alert the MSP, we can alert the end user if, for example, it's a co-managed client with an internal IT department, and then we can also create tickets in your PSA console if you're using like Autotask PSA, for example.
So I've got a great question here that I want to take a stab at. So does Cork recommend budgeting for a warranty before budgeting for cyber insurance? I'll let you answer if one should come before the other, but I will say that Cork recommends being strategic with it. So as I just mentioned, maybe you've got cyber insurance, you want to get the cyber warranty, but you don't want to add the extra spend. So maybe you increase your deductible on cyber insurance,
Yep,
which reduces your annual spend on insurance, and then you purchase the warranty. Sometimes if you've increased your deductible enough, you may end up saving money between the two policies, and then
exactly.
Cork is able to be used. In fact, let me put it back up here. Cork is able to be used for the deductible.
Correct.
Um,
Yep. And it doesn't cost any money to activate Cork. So let's say you got hit by a $200 gift card scam. Like, all right, you let us know, we verify it, then yeah, you're going to get reimbursed the $200. Whereas
and then
typically, yeah.
And then this is annual coverage. So you're also not saying we cover you for two losses. We just cover you for 500,000 a year, or is there also a limit of the number of times we can activate?
Nope, nope. There's no limit for the number of times that you can activate. So, like for example, on the Protect Pro 500K package, like say you got hit by a $200 gift card scam in January and a $300 gift card scam in October, we would cover out both of those types of environments.
All right, now chicken or the egg, which comes first, insurance or warranty?
Yeah, I would say both of them are super, super important. If you had to only pick one, I would probably say I would be selfish and say warranty, mainly because with warranty, we're giving you that real time visibility, right? We're able to instantly look at a client's environment and say, yep, they meet the proper next steps to qualify for coverage here because we see RMM, EDR, MFA, all these security tools checking in real time. And cyber insurance is super, super important. Don't get me wrong, but you're not getting that real time visibility. In most cases, it's filling out a security questionnaire. And then once those answers are locked in and submitted, there's really no, again, real time monitoring that's going to let the user know that, yep, if you got hit by an attack today, you would or would not get a payout. With us, we're telling you that information in real time because we're able to judge the proactive risk by tying into the APIs of the cybersecurity tech stack that the MSPs are selling.
So let's talk pricing.
Yeah.
Is the pricing the same across the board, or is it like insurance where every client's going to get a different price?
So we don't care about the revenue that the clients bring in or really their size or where they're located or anything like that. The price mostly is going to be the same what if you're a law firm in Alabama or if you're a dental office in California. So that really doesn't apply or make a difference to us. The key thing that is going to drive pricing is, if you want the Protect Plus plan for $100,000 worth of coverage or the Protect Pro plan for $500,000 worth of coverage. Both
All
of
right,
these plans
so
are typically going to be a fraction of the cost of a cyber insurance policy. We're talking about giving your clients hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of coverage for a couple $100 a month, if that.
okay, so um, are you able to give me an MSP price or at least an MSRP of what you charge for Protect Plus and Protect
Yeah,
Pro?
yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple ways that my MSPs are selling this. Some of my MSPs are selling them individually a la carte as a line item. I know
Hmm.
that that's what one of our MSPs in this success story was able to do. So they were able to give their client $100,000 worth of supplemental coverage. They sold it for $160 a month, and that's with a very decent margin baked in for this MSP. So again, if you want to sell it individually a la carte as a line item, you can. What some MSPs are doing is they're not necessarily even like including Cork as a line item. They're just packaging it in with their cybersecurity tech stack. Hey, Mr. Customer, I'm selling you this vendor for RMM, this vendor for EDR, this vendor for email security. And, because you bought this security tech stack for me, also included is a $100,000 warranty along with it. Now, from a liability standpoint, though, the warranty agreement is going to be between Cork and the end user to really reduce the liability of the MSP's behalf. Think of an MSP kind of like that local car dealership, right? You go into the car dealership and you buy the car comes with a warranty. If you need to activate the warranty or have issues with the warranty, the consumer who bought the car is dealing directly with Ford, directly with General Motors. They're not dealing with the car dealership down the street that resold them that warranty, years and years ago. So that's our approach in order to reduce the liability on the MSP's shoulders, is having those agreements set up between the end user and Cork.
All right. So it sounds like the Cork Protect Plus, your $100,000 plan, might cost MSPs between $1,000 and $1,500 a year. Is that?
It's probably a little bit less than that, but yeah, that would be on the higher end. But yeah.
Okay. And then Protect Pro, what kind of ballpark range are we looking at for that?
Yeah, we could usually give them 5 times the coverage, so $500,000 worth of coverage for around 2 or so times the cost.
Okay. So we'll call it $2,000 to $3,000 a year. And again, I might be high, but at least you've got a ballpark range now, guys.
Yeah, I would say that's on the higher end. It won't be higher than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we know it's definitely less than $1,500 to $3,000 a month for Protect Plus or Protect Pro. It covers, hypothetically, at least when you go with Protect Pro, it covers more than cyber insurance does, as far as like what you can claim, because cyber insurance isn't going to cover the gift card scams and the wire transfer fraud.
Yeah, I would say just the asterisk there is on average, right? Because cyber insurance, you get a great broker, and as long as you're willing to spend the amount of money on your premium, they'll probably put anything in there. But what I'll say is, based on the hundreds and hundreds of cyber insurance policies that we've gotten over the last few years here, the vast majority of them typically do not cover phishing attacks, gift card scams, wire transfer frauds, things of that nature. However, they do cover things like ransomware payments, business interruption losses, data recovery services, incident responses, which are also super, super important, which is glad we see those there in insurance policies.
And so the pro to Cork is we get the money right away and the cost is relatively low. The con is we can't get millions and millions of coverage like we can with a cyber insurance policy.
Exactly. So when someone asks me, hey, I have a 75-person end user, can I sell them a $500,000 policy and tell them to cancel their insurance? I'm always going to say no. If you're that big, you need a multi-million-dollar insurance policy.
Good. All right. Let's talk about education, because if MSPs are going to sell this, with cyber insurance, that's a heavily regulated industry. I cannot sell somebody insurance without becoming a registered insurance agent or broker.
Yep.
With a warranty, I feel like any schmuck with a truck can sell one of these. So, so let's talk about what type of education you are going to be providing the MSPs and or your clients through, like the clients that you acquire through MSPs. So that way we know exactly what we're getting and what we're paying for.
100%. That's a great question. So number one, even you might be a schmuck off the street. In order for someone to even buy the warranty, they need to meet the minimum requirements, right? They have to be working with an MSP and have RMM, EDR, MFA, and backups running. Once you meet the security requirements, we're all about education here. So when MSPs come on board with Cork, we give them a ton of marketing support, whether it's social media posts that they can use on LinkedIn and Facebook. We have brochures and one-pagers. We have animated slide decks that go over the differences between insurance and cyber warranties. We also have animated explainer videos that go over it as well. So whether you want social media content or videos or slide decks or brochures, we pretty much have you covered on all bases. To educate the client, before the warranty agreement is valid, the warranty agreement needs to be signed off by the end user consumer, knowing what they're actually purchasing through their MSP. So once they sign off on that, that has all the legal terms and conditions for them to be educated on as well. And me and my team here at Cork are always happy to jump on the call with the MSP to, help explain them or take it a step further.
Okay. And I've got your slide up here with the different types of marketing support that you provide. So it looks like you're giving MSPs graphics, flyers, um, infographics, all sorts of different material that they can use to promote and sell the product.
Correct.
Okay. Now, we talked about the fact that you integrate with all those different tools, RMMs, maybe, I don't think PSA, maybe PSA,
From a
EDR.
ticketing, from a ticketing standpoint, we'll integrate with PSAs. From a ticketing and alerting standpoint,
Okay.
those are a couple of the ones that we integrate with now, and more are coming.
Yeah. So you integrate with all these different things, RMMs, EDRs, BCDRs, MFA, email, the list goes on, right? Email security. And the number of tools that you integrate with are increasing every month or every quarter. You said the next one you're adding to the list is Threat Locker.
Yep, we got Threat Locker for EDR, Total. They're next on our radar, and then I believe Axient for backup. So again, but if we were to do this slideshow, 6 months from now, I probably can't fit all the logos on it because we're adding more on a constant basis.
Okay. What if we're using something that you don't integrate with today? Does that mean we just don't sell Cork yet?
No, that doesn't mean it at all. So a lot of these integrations are optional, like security awareness training, email security, as an example. We want to get those metrics, but at the end of the day, those are optional security requirements. If we can provide visibility into there, that's great. But again, they're optional. I would say
Okay.
the bare minimum that we would need is, again, RMM running on the machine. If we don't integrate with any of these RMMs, let us know. The only one that's missing from this screen is Super Ops, but we just finished that up last week, so this slide is a little bit old.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I say like we're cranking these out, we are cranking these out. Worst case scenario, if for whatever reason you're using something, let us know. And because all of our development is in-house here, we could add that to the top of the list. But rest assured, if you have a client that wants to buy a Cork warranty, we will do what we need to help you make money and help Cork earn revenue as well.
All right. Now, let me see here. I'm wearing my operations manager hat. Talked about specific coverage details like, paying out the accidental fraud type stuff. Are there exclusions of your warranty that we should be aware of?
Yeah, there are, like all insurances, or financial covers, there are going to be exclusions, and that's something in the actual warranty agreement itself. It's pretty standard exclusions there. Like we won't cover acts of war, right? So like if World War III breaks out and one country starts attacking the United States, like we're not going to be able to provide financial payouts during acts of war, as an example.
Gotcha. So that's good to know. I think our cyber insurance is going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's an ever growing concern for some people right now. Are there countries that you won't sell to?
Yes, there are a couple of countries like there definitely are a few in the Middle East. I won't mention names that are just too risky.
Well, maybe it's easier to say like you'll sell obviously in U.S., Canada.
Right now, we could sell the warranty in North America. So if you have a small business in the United States or even in Canada, that's no problem. Let's stick
what about
to that.
UK or EU?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Not because we don't want to. It's just from a legality standpoint, we don't have business operations running there quite yet.
Understood.
Yep.
Okay, so North America, got it. Mexico, does that count?
I would have to double check. I haven't seen that come across my plate yet, but we have a ton of MSPs in Canada and a ton of MSPs in the United States so far. And
Okay,
again, we're not even a year old yet, so we've still accomplished a lot. We have well over 100 MSPs selling us to their clients, and hopefully, we'll have a lot more by the end of the year.
great. So you mentioned that the payout is really quickly. How does the claim process work?
Yeah, so it depends on the type of attack. I could pull this up real quick. So typically, what happens if it's something like a phishing attack and we're alerting and notifying you, we're giving you a settlement, in a matter of 2 days. So hey, it was a phishing attack for an $80 Home Depot gift card or a $250 Amazon gift card. That's something we could do right off the bat in 2 days. If it's something like a ransomware or wire transfer attack where it's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, well, first thing we're going to do is we're going to give you instant access to funds, a virtual credit card with $10,000. And then we're going to take a little bit of a closer look there, make sure that, hey, did that $100,000 really get misplaced somewhere? Was it really fraud, or did you guys lose it somewhere? And even during our examination process, we're closing things up in under a month. If we're paying off a cyber insurance deductible, same sort of scenario where we're giving you instant access to funds, and then we're working with your insurance broker to provide the deductible payment towards them.
Very cool. And what kind of is there any reporting or analytics that MSPs need to be aware of
Yeah,
when they work?
Yeah, so right now, really all the reporting and analytics is going to be within our dashboard. Again, that's where we're getting all the alerts for your RMM, your EDR, your MFA tools, etc. We don't have like an open API just yet. Like thinking long term in the future, we're all about how do we get this information into MSP's hands the smartest way possible. So, maybe it's us working with a SIM tool and having this data analyzed by a SIM and then reviewed by a SOC team. We're not there yet, but like that's the sort of logic that we're looking at for the future.
All right, let me change hats again. All right, I'm going to put on my L3 systems engineer hat, which I will be honest, that hat's a little dusty. So besides using these tools, I'll put the slide up again. So besides using some of these tools, are there like technical requirements? So like at a minimum, I think you said we have to have RMM and EDR, right?
Yep.
Okay. Are there any other like compatibility considerations, technical requirements, or anything else for implementing Cork?
No, really, as long as the vendor has a public API, we're going to be able to ingest that data and work with them. And it's a read-only access API is what we need. So we're not like changing any configurations or anything like that. So it's really, again, the API. We want to reduce the burden of the MSP having to install yet another agent onto the client's machine.
Is there anything that we can do that will impact the warranty pricing and coverage in a good way?
In a good way. Well, obviously, the more cybersecurity tools you have, it's going to reduce the likelihood of them getting an attack. Um, Ultimately, what we like to encourage is for our customers to have as many cybersecurity tools as possible, and that will easier qualify them for both Cork's warranty and cyber insurance. For those that do have cyber insurance, increase the deductible on that policy and utilize us as gap coverage because that's going to drive down your cost of insurance while also filling the void with Cork. So we work very hand in hand with insurance.
Do you guys offer any type of technical support or incident response assistance?
Yeah, so we're US based, so we're happy to get involved in everything. That being said, we're not a remediation company or anything like that. So if you guys do get hacked, typically it's us paying for those services, and the person that's doing the incident response, it could be the MSP, or it could be another third party that the end user is engaging with, and we would be the ones paying off those parties. So in a lot of ways, if it is the MSP performing the incident response post-attack and you have a warranty, in a lot of ways, it's essentially guaranteeing that the end user is going to have funds available to pay the MSP for their services to clean up the attack post boom.
So I'm gonna talk for a moment about our guest Brian here. first of all, do you have any plans on integrating with any governance, risk, compliance? I think that's what GRC stands for. I always
Yeah,
forget.
yeah, it's not something that's coming out today or tomorrow, but obviously we want to integrate with as many tools as possible in the long run. Like we're also looking at integrating with uh, identity and access management platforms as well, or PAM tools. So you're going to see this dashboard really grow and grow and grow as time goes on, and getting more visibility into the data that we're getting from this dashboard. Like I mentioned earlier, maybe we set up an API so this data could get sent to a SIM or a SOC team, as an example. Right now, though, we're really just chugging through the backlog of trying to work with every RMM, EDR, MFA vendor that's on the market. Again, we already have a lot on the screen, and more are coming on a daily basis.
So continuing to pick on poor Brian here, his one of his favorite things to talk about is tech debt. And you're a new company, so you probably have more tech debt than you realize because you're still trying to figure out how your software works, right? So with all of these integrations, my biggest fear is that now I'm giving uh, hackers in, let's pick on North Korea and China because why not piss off half of the population of Earth? Um, so let's say China decides they want to attack Cork. Aren't you now like my biggest attack vector because you're integrated with all of my cybersecurity tools and my RMM and my PSA via APIs, and now you're potentially giving these attackers keys to the kingdom?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the API access that we get is a very low level read only API. Part of our privacy management policy is that we're actually not seeing any personal PII data. Like it's not there. Like all we could see is the name of the workstation, like workstation number one, workstation number two. We're not seeing passwords or anything like that.
Okay. Any plans to integrate with something like IT Glue or Hoodoo?
Yeah, it's something that's very interesting to us for sure. We're not there yet. Again, we're focused more on the security tools, not necessarily the documentation tools. But in the future, yeah, I wouldn't see an issue with that. Just it's not going to happen today or tomorrow.
Okay. Um, all right. So continuing with picking on poor Brian here, what insurance
Ryan's
companies?
our favorite fan right now.
He is, man. Are you guys recognized by any insurance companies, like for any reason?
Actually, yeah. So we're actually reinsured by Hiscox, which is a
Hmm,
plus rated global reinsurer.
they
So
are.
that's a billion dollar company to make sure that Cork is financially solvent to pay out the warranties that we're actually selling. So if for whatever reason Cork and our captive company goes under where we don't have enough funding available, Hiscox, which is our reinsurer, would kick in to ensure there's enough funding available to pay out those warranties.
Great. All right. Hey, we got somebody new here. Now we got Dylan.
All right.
Uh, all right. So, in the event of cyber insurance not being involved, earlier we talked about how selfishly you would say if a company only could choose one financially, that you would prefer they choose Cork. Does
Yep.
Cork have approved incident response providers that you can engage or refer us to assist in forensics?
That's a great question. So as of today, like if you go on our website, the answer is no. I'm gonna be honest and say that's gonna be changing very soon. We had a lot of great conversations at the Right of Boom Cybersecurity Conference, and we're in the process of doing a proof of concept with several of these IR vendors. Where again, if an MSP's customers get breached and they have nowhere to turn, they don't even know where to start with IR. We do want to have those formal relationships in place where it's, hey, you could use whoever you want. We're going to pay them out. But if you don't know where to look, check out these guys as a first step. So I can't disclose who they are quite yet because we're still in the proof of concept phase, but it's definitely conversations that we've been having since the Right of Boom conference.
Brian mentioned that yes, they have drift monitoring, so they'll actually tell you, the MSP, when something is out of compliance, so to speak, so that way you can resolve that issue. So, for example, if you uninstall the EDR or the RMM from an endpoint, they'll throw up a red flag. Now,
Yeah.
there could be occasions where you know what, this computer is being decommissioned. So yeah, we uninstalled the RMM, and I'm sure we can just click a button and say, yeah, this computer is decommissioned. We don't need it anymore.
Correct. And we could give you a quick little, if you want to share this screen.
Sure.
So right now I logged into my dashboard and I see, a bunch of my clients checking in. We got Ninja RMM and Bitdefender over here. There's Sentinel One checking in over there for all my different clients. But for my client Bluth over here, I'm seeing that, there's a couple endpoints on their network where no EDR is installed for whatever reason. There's a couple endpoints where backups aren't running, where MFA is disabled. So those are some of the highlights of the warning signals you would get. Or like I mentioned earlier in today's presentation, this is that check engine light, right? Saying, hey, you might want to take a look at this before we can pay out a financial warranty here.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's a quick little sneak peek. My other client here, Dunder Mifflin Scranton, so they use RMM and EDR and MFA and backup. As a result, as an MSP, I can instantly select the Buy Now button and give them coverage. Whereas Dunder Mifflin Stanford, they have RMM, but they don't have anything for EDR, MFA, or backup. As a result, they do not meet the minimum system requirements, so I cannot sell them a warranty. There's no Buy Now button there. And I think that's what separates us from insurance a little bit as well is, with insurance, as long as the customer says yes, yes, yes to all the questions on the insurance questionnaire, they're going to get coverage, even though there's a very, very low likelihood that if those questions aren't filled out correctly, a payout isn't going to occur. So with us, to be a little bit more ethical here, we're at least enforcing it, saying, hey, we're not even going to take your money unless we can guarantee we're actually going to be able to pay you out one day. So that's what we want to have those minimum requirements here.
So someone privately asked about performance implications of using Cork, but since there's no endpoint agent being installed, everything is API-based to all of your cloud-based cybersecurity tools.
Correct.
So there should not be any performance implications of using Cork.
Yep, that is correct. Again, no hardware or software is getting installed here. It's really Dwight. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if Dwight was more secure, his staplers wouldn't get put in Jello as often.
Is there anything that we can customize or fine tune using Cork's backend that you just showed us?
Not quite yet. Again, we don't have an API, so we can't really send the data anywhere. We can't send it to a SIM or a SOC team or anything like that. But that is something we're going to be improving on and making more quarterly reports that are more branded for the MSP and their logo. So
sure, but what if we want to fine tune Cork to meet the specific needs or risk profiles of our individual clients?
How so?
I don't know. so I let's say this client they have a website where you can go and do shopping online, e-commerce.
Yep.
Do they need, like, I don't know, a special rider or something through Cork to protect their website, or you just kind of blanket cover everything?
We blanket cover everything, and we're going to provide coverage as long as whoever is at that organization that manages the website, they have MFA turned on for their email account. The machine that they use to adjust that website has EDR running, etc. Let it go, let it go. Oh, he's talking about your singing voice.
So this is an ongoing joke. I called T-Mobile last week. I activated a phone for my son, and their job is to keep us entertained, I guess, while we're on hold with them. So the woman said, "You have such a beautiful speaking voice. Do you sing?" And I said, "I mean, yeah, I do." She's like, "Ooh, can you sing me something? I want to hear a sample." I'm like, "No, get out of here. Just activate my phone and go away." Like, oh my goodness.
So we shouldn't do a duet? Are you sure? Anything you can do, I can do better.
I don't know the words. All right. So next time I'll prepare. Okay,
Yes.
we'll get the karaoke slides ready, and the biggest problem I would have, honestly, Nick, is the delay that we would have. It would just ruin everything.
Yep.
So, all right, I'm going to put on my sales manager hat. What are the key pain points and challenges that Cork's cyber warranty solution addresses for our clients, and how can we effectively communicate the benefits?
Yeah, yeah. So that's a lot to unpack there. So, like I mentioned earlier, cyber insurance is super, super important, but MSPs sometimes get put in an awkward spot. In order for a client to get cyber insurance coverage, they got to work with an insurance broker because they're licensed and that's what they do, which is great. But in order for that end client to get coverage through the insurance broker, they need to often fill out an insurance questionnaire. And
Hmm.
typically, that insurance questionnaire is filled out by the MSP. But the
Hmm.
MSP isn't making money on this process because it's the insurance broker that's making money selling the insurance. So now the MSP is in an awkward spot where they want their client to get insurance coverage because insurance is super important and we love that. But now the MSP is responsible for doing all that work, answering the questions or helping guide the clients to answer those questions correctly. So the advantage of Cork is, hey, you could still give your clients financial coverage and protection without the need of going through the labor of filling out those questionnaires. And you're making a monthly recurring profit on top of it because it's you are the one that's reselling that financial protection as opposed to the insurance broker selling the financial protection in that example.
Now,
Now,
I gotta say, I guess I disagree with you to a degree. You
okay.
said that an MSP. Okay, so in a perfect world, yes, we're helping our client fill out that insurance questionnaire, but that should make us money because we're going to say, "Oh, hey, look, your cyber insurance policy
Yeah,
wants you to have this.
indirectly, yeah,
This thing that I've been
indirectly,
telling you to do for 3 years. Now they require it, so now I get to sell it to you."
yes, indirectly, the MSP could make money with cyber insurance because, oh, I need to sell you this EDR, this MFA in order to qualify for the insurance. But we're taking it one step further where you're now making money selling the financial coverage itself in the form of a warranty as opposed to insurance when you're dealing with a customer. And the other value add, which is ultimately going to bring value to the customer, is hey, we're doing things that insurance isn't. We're giving you monitoring, we're giving you instant access to funds, we're paying off the insurance deductible, all of which comes at a very, very low cost.
Okay. Now, how can we and how should we, if we should even, position Cork's solution as a cost-effective and proactive alternative to traditional cyber insurance?
That's a tough answer. Like, again, I've really only sold Cork as an alternative to cyber insurance for very, very small businesses, 10 employees or less, where $500,000 worth of coverage is adequate. Again, if you're over 10 employees or you're making a lot of money each year, you really need to have a good cyber insurance policy because, again, cyber insurance is super, super important. I don't want to downplay that.
Now, Brian asked about integration to the identity layer that handles MFA. We don't have the slide up right now, but you do integrate with Duo and Microsoft Authenticator today.
Yeah, correct.
So if we're not using one of those, if we're using some other platform, and I can't think of one right now,
Yeah, so
uh,
let's say, for example, you're using like Evo Security or Okta or something like that. Yes, we can accept a self attestation, and you wouldn't have the monitoring visibility there, which is why we want to integrate with as many tools as possible via API to not only give the warranty but give the monitoring for the validation of that warranty as well.
perfect. All right, how can we leverage Cork's partnerships and integrations with other cybersecurity vendors to create compelling bundled offerings?
Yeah, so I see that all the time. So what a lot of MSPs are doing is they're having, their cybersecurity package, and maybe the silver plan includes EDR and backup, and the gold plan includes EDR, backup, email security, and a warranty. We've seen that done multiple times where they're packaging us into their medium or top tier cybersecurity bundle.
What are
Yeah.
the most common objections? Oh, here the cat goes again. What are the most common objections and concerns raised by prospects when considering Cork's cyber warranty?
I guess it's just the education around cyber insurance. Like a lot of them are under the impression, well, like I have cyber insurance, like that's going to cover every attack ever, guaranteed, right? And as much as we would all love to think that, that's just ultimately not the case. There are many types of scenarios where cyber insurance claims are getting denied, and even if they don't get denied, you're probably going to be waiting a couple weeks to get a payout from them, and that's after you shell out even more money paying off the deductible.
And do you have any metrics for ROI calculations that we can use to demonstrate the value and impact of Cork?
I don't necessarily have it here because that's a tough question to answer because again, some MSPs they're selling it individually a la carte as a line item and they're making money that way. Other MSPs they're just including it for free with their standard MSA stack and they're just factoring that cost of Cork into their 5% annual raise increase that they do with their customers. Oh, you're muting. I lost you.
Sorry.
There we go.
The last question that I see right now from the audience, um, do you have any vetting to ensure that the cybersecurity tools not only are they installed but configured properly? Something that he sees often is EDR is not being properly configured and missing events or alerts.
That's a good question. I don't think we have that type of granularity there. I think we're just seeing that Sentinel-1 is installed and running, not if Sentinel-1 is installed and running correctly. I'll have to get some clarification there, but yeah.
And then referencing this comment above, is having a third party or in-house SOC a requirement to properly check the EDR box?
No, it is not at the time. So we look at from a checkbox standpoint, we look at WebRoot as checking the same box as Sentinel-1 with a 24/7 SOC. Obviously, those are two different solutions, but at the end of the day, from warranty coverage standpoint, they check the same box.
That's very interesting.
Yep.
And I'm sure somebody has an opinion about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, we just saw it this past week with Kaseya's 365. They had their two offerings. One comes with the SOC, and one doesn't come with the SOC, depending on the client's needs.
Right. And then someone asked if there are any industries where cyber warranty is better than insurance.
I would say that no. Yeah.
And because just in case you guys missed it from earlier, so one of the testimonials that Nick put up was there's an IT company who their client had cyber insurance with a $5,000 deductible. They increased the deductible to $25,000, saved like I don't know $3,000 a year on their policy, uh, put that towards the Cork Pro warranty, and still had money left over because
Yep.
the Cork Pro warranty is not $3,000. At least our cost is not as an MSP. Um, and so the Cork warranty pays out to cover the deductible. Yeah.
Yep.
Am I missing anything?
Nope. That basically hits the nail on the head. So I know that we're coming up on the hour here. Any last questions for us, Steve?
I want to know what Brian is referring to. He said slippery slope of a message.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he meant there.
I don't know. Oh, you know what? I bet he's talking about WebRoot and Sentinel-1 check off the same box.
Oh yeah, I'm a total agreement with that. Like from a warranty coverage standpoint, we look at all vendors the same, but again, always trust the MSP to perform their own evaluations to signify the apples versus an orange.
Sure, but okay, so hear me out. And I hope you've got an extra couple of minutes because I want to suss this out. So if you're saying WebRoot and Sentinel-1 check off the same boxes, then why would I spend extra on Sentinel-1 or CrowdStrike or whatever when I can get the more cost-effective solution that checks off the same box?
That's a Coke versus Pepsi argument. There's going to be MSPs that say WebRoot's the greatest thing since sliced bread. There's going to be MSPs that say CrowdStrike or Sentinel-1 are the greatest thing since sliced bread, and that's up to them in their evaluation process.
but okay, I'm not saying Coke versus Pepsi. I'm saying if you look, and I don't care, replace Weber with whatever you want, okay? I don't care about brand right now. I'm talking feature to feature. If one platform does more than the other, but you're saying that the simple, air quote, simple platform is going to cover, as far as you guys are concerned, it's the same coverage. Why would I spend extra to protect my client better when I can save money and I have got your warranty to cover my ass?
Yeah, that is really, again, up to the MSP and the vendors that they select. We don't get too far into that, unfortunately. And Steve,
Okay.
as much as I love talking and singing with you, I do have another webinar. I do have to hop on here.
I understand. All right. Well, hey, thank you so much, everyone. If you guys have questions about Cork, leave them in the comments on YouTube or on LinkedIn, and Nick and I will do our best to get to those after the fact. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you so much, everyone. You all have a great day.
All right. Thanks.